Looks like it's 12:30. Maybe we should go ahead and get this party started. Got everybody here? All right. All right. Here we are. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to our panel. This is going to be about seasonality. And first, I wanted to quickly tell you, why you should consider thinking about seasonality in your business. Here at Affiliate Summit, you're going to see a lot of different opportunities inside affiliate marketing. I'm sure you see a lot of people looking for that next big thing or shortcuts to achieving success in affiliate marketing. And seasonality is actually one of those things that I consider low-hanging fruit, an opportunity for you to achieve long-term success, and it just takes a little bit of effort and time to identify different opportunities. And so that's what we're here for. Going to learn a lot from these two experts here. And let's see. This, I believe, is not working, as I understand. So if you do have any questions, we are going to have plenty of time for questions at the end of this session. There's a microphone right up there in the middle, so please just feel free to come up, ask a question. We won't bite. Well, maybe. So I don't know about you, but I personally prefer and appreciate an agenda before we get started. So we're going to do some quick introductions, and we're going to discuss these 5 points here. Seasonality defined and some examples, preparing for seasons, capitalizing on timing and events, and extending revenue opportunities, and again, plenty of time for Q&A. So some quick introductions. My name is Todd Farmer. I am formerly the founder and CEO of a company called Cowabunga Technologies. We made internet marketing software, particularly some software that you may have known or used in the past as an affiliate marketer. It was called My Affiliate Program or Kalimbo Network, and we offered merchants services and technologies to run and manage their own affiliate programs. And now I get to play as an affiliate and as a merchant and as a consultant, and I have the distinct honor and pleasure to introduce these two fine experts here. Now I know Tricia Tricia Meyer here. I've known her for quite some time, so I wrote down some things. I wrote down some nice things to say about her, so I didn't mess it up. She's the owner of SunshineRewards.com. It's a leading loyalty and cashback site, and she also is quite a bit of a workaholic, so she has plenty of different additional niche sites that she has an additional level of understanding and expertise in seasonality, including Twilight, True Blood, the Smurfs, new one, and my son's favorite is the Hunger Games, another one of her niches that she works in. She's been in affiliate marketing for 7 years and has spoken here at Affiliate Summit in the past about marketing to women, monetizing blogs, and using video in affiliate marketing. And she recently started a consulting business as well, so you can hit her up for some expertise at some point. And Kristen Grace here, she is the affiliate marketing manager for BuyCostumes.com and Celebrate Express. These are two clearly very seasonal-oriented businesses. And just quickly, BuyCostumes.com is a highly seasonal costume, party, and decor company founded in 1999. And Celebrate Express is a family of 4 different individual brands like Birthday Express, OneWishes.com, Costume Express, and Celebrate Express. And she's been working with this company for 8 years. And she's won CJU's People's Choice Award in 2008 and again in 2010. You're busy, girl. Are you kidding me? All right, so without further ado, let's just go ahead and get this thing going. Let's let the experts start speaking about this.
When I first started thinking about what I hadn't seen at Affiliate Summit back in Vegas, one of the things that struck me that I hadn't seen any presentations done on in the past 4 or 5 years I've been here was seasonality. And honestly, I didn't know if that was a real word. I just had it stuck in my head that we needed to talk about seasonality. So I actually went to the Wikipedia site to see if there was such a word as seasonality and how they defined it. And I mean, it's basically just the cycles that we see throughout the year. Sometimes it's called periodic variation if you're kind of a statistics nerd. That might be what you know it as. It can be something that occurs regularly or semi-regularly. And we'll kind of talk as we go through our presentation about the different types of those. But it was interesting to me that the best example that Wikipedia gave of seasonality was sales during the Christmas holiday season. So it's clear when, what we do, how we make our money is the best example of seasonality, that seasonality is something that we all need to be thinking of throughout the year.
have a slide here for seasonal versus non-seasonal merchant. We've discussed this.
Yeah, so this actually, the graph on the left is buycostumes.com's actual seasonality peak. So we do roughly, just to share with you from a costume perspective, we do 75 to 80% of our revenue in the next 7 weeks. And so as a partner, as an affiliate, when you're looking at companies and interviewing companies and affiliate managers about what you want to monetize and what the opportunity is, see if they're willing to share how extreme the seasonal peak is, and that will give teeth to you as an affiliate marketer to make sure your campaigns are locked and loaded by the time that peak starts to ramp up. On the right side of the graph, this is a non-seasonal or just less seasonal merchant, right? So peaks and valleys where you have a more predictable, even Steven revenue stream coming through. So if you're not already having a few different eggs in baskets, I would suggest, or we would suggest, maybe dabbling in highly seasonal programs, but obviously having something that can bring in those commission checks on a more normal basis, so that you're not solely dependent, just on that one company or those few companies that have such crazy seasons. So this is just kind of visual for any visual learners out there that like pretty graphs. Like me.
Speaking of pretty visuals,
Yep.
you can see my lame attempt at pretty visuals for the seasons and Kristen's elaborate visual attempt of the holiday seasons up here. The difference in what we do. Talking about seasonality, I mean, there are the very obvious things when you think seasonality. You're thinking about Christmas and Halloween, but then you're also thinking about the wedding season. You're thinking about the NFL season. You're thinking about back to school, graduation, the different holidays. But then there are some not as obvious things that might be regional. It might just be something that you're particularly not interested in, but other people are. How many of you have ever heard of Sweetest Day? Y'all live in the Midwest.
Right.
Sweetest Day,
Saint
like
Nick's.
in October,
Yeah.
Valentine's Day, that we celebrate. That is kind of the big sales season where I live, but a lot of people across the country have never even heard of that. NCAA March Madness, I hope you've all heard of that, but not everybody has. If you're not into college sports, then you may not even understand the extent to which NCAA March Madness would be something that you could market, whether you're marketing directly to the basketball games or whether you're just using that concept of March Madness on your website. Things like the Oscars, depending on the type of site that you have, if you've got the Oscars or the Grammys or things like that are coming up, those might be different seasonality events that you wouldn't necessarily think of tying into your site. Breast Cancer Awareness Month, any of those types of awareness months or things that you could use on your site. And Pi Day, that was my husband's entry into the list. Other things like the quick response issues that you don't think of as seasonal, but death of a pop icon, we'll talk a little bit more about that later. High profile trials, obviously we've had one of these this year, other big ones as well in the past. Crazies in the media. We'll talk a little bit more about those, and the non-politically correct products and the extent to which you as a merchant want to sell them and you as an affiliate may or may not want to promote those kinds of things. So I actually put together at tricia.me/calendar, I put together a list that will be a good starting point if you're looking for just a basic editorial calendar, and it goes throughout the year and has all of the major holidays, some of the religious holidays, some of the different sporting events, finding out when different seasons, when NASCAR starts and ends, when NFL starts and ends, some of the things like the Oscars, all of that with some help from Kristen's great buy costumes list that they use too. So feel free to use that, download it, put it up on your sites if you're blogging about this kind of topic. Feel free to spread that around.
Yeah, so again, this is a great resource, guys. Please write that down, tricia.me/calendar.
Yeah, and I have it spelled calendar either way, so if y'all misspell calendar, you'll still get to it, so don't worry.
You thought of me when you
I was
did that.
thinking of Todd.
I know it, exactly.
Right, so the relation to affiliate marketing. It seems like it should be obvious, but there are some things that I think that people don't necessarily think about. And in terms of your site, your merchant site, your affiliate site, just out of curiosity, how many of you are merchants? And how many are affiliates? All right, a little less than half on the affiliate side. If you have sites, obviously, that are specifically built for seasons. If you have a costume comparison site, if you have a site that's all Christmas gift ideas, if you have a site that is selling Christmas story leg lamps, anything like that that would be specifically for that particular season, you are thinking seasonality. But you also need to go beyond that. You need to think about bloggers and how bloggers need content ideas. If you're looking for something to write about this month and you're kind of tapped out of ideas, and you have that editorial calendar, or you have a merchant who's sending you those ideas, bloggers of any type can use seasonality and use things throughout the year. Cashback, coupon, product comparison sites. Obviously we focus on the big holiday selling seasons, but at the same time, we're always looking for products that we want to spotlight in a given month, ways that we want to change up our website to be more holiday specific. So that's where the merchants, as Kristen will talk about in a few minutes, the merchants can really help out their affiliates by giving them those ideas of what kind of products they have that fit into those seasonal events, whether they're well-known or not so well-known. But essentially, almost every single site, no matter whether you're a merchant or you're affiliate, seasonality impacts you in some way, and there are ways that you can make money off of seasonality. If you aren't using seasonality in some way on some of your sites, you need to.
Agreed. So how do you prepare for seasonality and all the different things that come across your calendar throughout the year?
Right. Yeah. So from a merchant perspective, I'm glad you asked that question, just so we're mindful of what the audience base is here. I just wanted to go through a few different things, like what you can do as an affiliate manager and as a company to optimize the opportunity for your partners. So first of all, give credit to your affiliates, because they absolutely are the front lines of your program and of your company. And you have to empower them. You have to give them ways to represent your brand and be really serious about giving them the tools and the products and selection and categories, exclusive products, things that they can actually do something with. So one way to communicate that, of course, are your monthly newsletters. I know affiliates get a lot of mail, but if it's valuable, they'll look at it and they'll read it, and they'll notice when that monthly email or that VIP news, so to speak, doesn't come through. What we do a lot of the time is we will craft or brand our newsletters for the upcoming holiday. So you better believe if you're getting an email from me right now, it's all about Halloween. But we'll change that focus and go, kind of through the year and change the focus of that newsletter to be relevant to what's coming up. Retail specifically will always be working a month or two in advance, especially if you're encouraging your affiliates to buy new domains. So they've got to get up on the SERPs, they've got to optimize their site. 2 weeks before a holiday is going to be a bad time to send a newsletter about something coming up. So you want to really be working a month or two in advance. And it sounds difficult, like, how can I possibly do that? Like, everything is so here and now. But certainly an editorial calendar or just picking priority holidays and seasons is a great way to just, spread your year out. I actually have a little ditty up here for anyone who's interested that takes top-level money-making holidays that I'm willing to share, with anybody in the room, just to kind of help you set that priority, and then you can always scale it from there. Special promotions. So I take this up a notch also when I'm thinking about the coupon code that we're offering to our partners. I think about, if it's Valentine's Day, or if it's a, Michael Jackson promotion, or, whatever it might be, NASCAR, that kind of thing. Make your promotions, your creative, and your coupon codes relevant to that holiday. So if you don't have a policy against using cryptic coupon codes like XYZ-123, and you can actually get a little creative with your coupon codes, they're easy to remember. The creative can be kind of fun too, have some NASCAR shout outs or some of your products highlighted. Again, it depends on the company. If you don't have a lot of flexibility, that gets a little bit gnarly, but make your case to the fact that hey, my affiliate has this NASCAR site. It'd be great to incorporate our brand with some NASCAR related creative, plus the coupon code, plus a landing page that has NASCAR, jib jab on it, creative on it, and it's all very cohesive. So when the customer sees that ad on the affiliate site, they click through, they know they're in the right place, they have some familiarity there. So definitely make your case to your graphics team to help you incorporate from start to finish this cohesive kind of seasonal promotion that you have. Another really great idea, we did this actually the first time last week. It was a little bit crazy, but we held a webinar. So we kicked off the season with the webinar. There's a couple of free tools out there, so I think the most obvious is not free, it's GoToMeeting. But a free one is join.me. And you can only call in, so it doesn't have VoIP, and you're not able to really tap in unless you actually literally pick up a handheld phone device, but it's a really efficient way. It's free. You can try it out, get feedback from your affiliates, see if they like it, and just bring industry info to the table, your current promotions, why they should partner with you. So kicking off a webinar, even if you have 20, 30, 40 people, again, it's all about putting a stake in the ground and scaling that opportunity from there. A couple other things, keep things easy, right? So within the networks, a lot of the times, no matter what network you're in, there's tricks and tips and keywords and things that you can provide your affiliates so that they can easily find you. So if you look for very generic seasons and holidays, you're going to get hundreds of companies that might have one product line, relevant to that particular season. And if you can use trigger keywords and make it very easy for your affiliates to be able to find your creative or find your promotion. If you don't have an affiliate account yourself, that's a test account, create it, get into CJ or Share a Sale or GAN or whatever network you work with, and make sure that you see what your affiliate is seeing. If they can't find a promotion that you're running, then you're out of luck, right? You're not going to get the support that you need that these affiliates are hungry to provide to you. Real quick here, again, doing an industry analysis. So do you know how big your industry is? Do you know what your seasonal peaks are personally for your program, for your company? Put that together in a nice presentation deck. Provide it to your affiliates. Let them know what the opportunity is. It's huge. Some of our industries that we work across are huge, and it might seem overwhelming and like, oh yeah, it can't possibly be billions of dollars. How am I ever going to, be able to make or drive that kind of volume? And it's not really about that, but it does give teeth and gives you credibility. So you want to become, kind of a credible resource for your affiliates so that they trust you, get to know you, ask more questions, and at the end of the day, sell more products for you. And last but not least, something we're probably most well known for that I'm very close to and really love to do each year is an annual contest. So it doesn't even have to be like a huge, scaled up contest. It can simply be a giveaway or drive X number of orders, we'll give you a bonus. Drive X number of sales, we'll, enter your name into a raffle, that kind of thing. And having these often or having them during peak opportunities during the year, I think is shared a lot. And we hear this a lot at Affiliate Summit. One thing I haven't heard as much though is making sure you make a big deal about who wins. So there's nothing worse than entering a contest or knowing a sweepstakes is taking place, and then never knowing who wins and thinking, yeah, well, I'm whatever. So following up and with the affiliate's consent, if they're willing and able to quote, and you can issue a press release, or you can make kind of a big deal and put the spotlight on them a little bit. Again, it just helps you become more credible, helps you kind of just allow your program to kind of be out there and spotlight that affiliate, kind of give credit where credit's due, and circle back on what you started.
Quick question for you, Kristen. When you're preparing for seasons, I know there's a lot of merchants out here, so I know your business is heavily involved in seasonality, so you have to really prepare for seasons. And you said, a month or two in advance, that's when you start pushing the creative and getting your affiliates thinking about that. How do you balance the here and now versus a month or two in advance?
Right. So that's kind of where I prioritize, and I know, for a fact, our business makes money for sure for several different seasons, and a lot of times businesses know what their core product lines or their core offerings are going to be. So you can work in advance and get a lot of that established right away. If you're responding to things, kind of what we mentioned earlier, like the death of a pop, icon, or just high-profile cases, the Casey Anthony case, for example, things like that. You kind of have to have your plan, and you have to be organized so that you can respond really quickly to that. And communication is key. So again, if you have good resources in place, and you can work with a graphics team, and even something as small as getting a text link into the network, or providing your affiliates with a link that will get them to a product page. One thing that I find really useful is creating distribution lists. So I've got distribution lists for my cashback or loyalty publishers, because they have different needs than strictly coupon sites, and they have different needs versus strictly content or blogger based websites, and different needs than search based affiliates. So when we have like a huge, fantastic offer, one day only, that kind of thing, I might not hit everybody, but I'll for darn sure, get that out to my coupon pubs because I know that they can, react quickly to that. Whereas, someone on the content side who doesn't really, want to promote coupons or be known for always offering codes, that might be more noise for them. So to respond quickly, prioritize who you're messaging and just, have your communication kind of distribution list up to snuff so that you can monetize and make
Right.
that turn really quickly.
Cool, thanks. Talk a bit about some of the creative inventory that you have to have.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is a good example of Harry Potter. So just speaking about creative, do your affiliates a favor and be relevant and make sure that your creative absolutely is up to snuff. So this is just an example of how Harry's a little guy. He grows up into like a preteen, and now by the end of the last movie, he is, a full-blown adult, battling for the world or whatever. So this is just an example of a piece of creative that we had. What we like to do is also incorporate official logos to make it more authentic. So, in the bottom right two images anyways, we've got the HP6 and the HP7 logos. So this is a great way to incorporate, just to, again, make it authentic. So creative should definitely grow, especially like another good example is Twilight, right? So every movie kind of has this theme, and you can allow your creative to kind of match that so that you're able, again, to be relevant. Because if we were promoting Harry Potter creative, for example, from eons ago, that wouldn't be as relevant as like the more darker type of Harry Potter movie that's, coming out now. Just other quick examples here, as far as like Star Wars goes, when they had, all the different movies there. Transformers is another one where, again, the movie theme, the logo, and just the feel of the movie is a little bit different from each year. Thundercats came back, so that's another really good example. If you guys, any Thundercat fans? Anyone?
Right here.
That's a really like random, seasonal opportunity. The Smurfs, actually Smurfettes. I'm going to blow your thunder here a little bit, but Smurfettes is one of the biggest trending searches right now in the costume and party space. Again, Chronicles of Narnia was kind of a big one. Just wanted to share some other examples where if we step outside of like the calendar, these are types of things that you guys can capitalize and monetize on. But again, make sure your creative is relevant. Do your affiliates a favor.
Cool. And this is the editorial calendar that you have a copy of
Yeah,
here, right?
okay, yep. So this is our editorial or campaign calendar, and this is the bread and butter of our business. This is also, I'd be willing to bet, the bread and butter of any seasonal business that offers things as far as retail goes, with regard to decor and party products and retail. I don't want to say in general, because we have a smaller Christmas season here, barring that our Halloween season is so much bigger than our Christmas. But these are start and pullback dates with especially paid search marketers in mind. So we do not want our affiliates or encourage our affiliates bidding on keywords on the 29th, 30th, and 31st of October, for example. So that kind of information might seem really obvious, but when you have a new search marketer who's out there, experimenting, point out those obvious pullback dates, or they will be, emailing you Monday morning, oh, everything I made I lost, the last couple days because they were just lookers and no hookers. So that sounded weird, but you get what I'm saying. So this is, again, I have this to share if anybody's interested. You can tweak this, for your business. But again, just a real shout out, I'm also a yoga instructor, and I know I have in my classes visual, kinesthetic, and auditory learners. So your visual learners love colors and coding, right? And a way to see what's happening here. So, color coding, although can be dainty at times, is a really quick, easy way to get your affiliates to visually see what they're up against and what they're up for. So just a quick tip there too. When you're putting things together, people can kind of follow that a little bit easier so that you adhere to all the kind of learners you have out there.
All right, Tricia, let's talk about preparing for the seasons from the affiliate's perspective.
From the affiliate perspective, I have to say, first of all, the reason I wanted Kristen so badly on this panel with me is because the tips that she's giving you are the best as merchants. As affiliates, those are the kind of things that we're looking to. We're relying on this kind of information to come to us because there's no other place that we're getting it from. So we need to take that information, and then ours kind of mirrors what's going on the merchant side. We start, instead of necessarily with the calendar, we have to start by putting together our rate cards. And for those of you who aren't currently doing that, that's just taking a look at the quarter, a couple of months in advance and putting together what your promotional opportunities are going to be for that quarter. That's letting the merchant know, we have front page placement. We can do video reviews for you. We can include you in this back to school newsletter, things like that. So put together that document as best as you can, a month or two before the quarter starts, and get it to your network representatives, your affiliate managers, your OPMs, anybody that you think might want to participate in that. And then you have a much better chance if they're going to do things like she mentioned, like getting you those custom landing pages, the custom creatives, and the coupon codes. So they don't know what you need until you tell them what you're doing, and then they can help work with you. Getting your mailings together in advance, it kind of goes along with building those promotional opportunities. You need to be thinking in advance that I'm going to have a back to school mailing, I'm going to have a Sweetest Day mailing, I'm going to have an October, a pre-Halloween mailing, and then an actual Halloween mailing. Getting all of those mailings put together in advance so that when you let those merchants know, you can tell them specifically, because they may want to know how many people is this mailing going to go out to, how many of their merchants are going to be included in this mailing, things like that. So the extent to which you can prepare your mailings in advance for these seasonal opportunities that every year you're doing Halloween, every year you're doing NCAA, just kind of put those aside and then let them know all of the specifics about them. Negotiating with merchants. You have to start before that season begins to negotiate with them, whether you're looking for higher commission rates or the custom coupon codes, anything that you would like specific from the merchant that's different than what you normally do. You have to start that negotiating with them, telling them what you can give them and what you'd like back. You need to do that a couple months in advance, because you have to imagine that they also have all those other affiliates that are trying to have those same negotiations with them. Logo and site changes. There are some sites that do a really great job with changing up their logo just a little bit, whether it's just changing it for fall or adding some snow during the winter. If you are into that kind of thing, changing up the theme of your site just a little bit, or changing up your logo just a little bit. Everybody always talks about Google's changes. They make such a big deal, whether it's the one day celebrating somebody's birthday or the seasonal thing. You always see people tweeting about those logo changes, and everybody goes to look at it. You have to think about that for your site in terms of seasonality. If you have a sports site, making something in particular with the hoop for March Madness, or changing it to the football August, September. So whatever it is that you have, work within those seasons to change up your site just a little bit. Your banners, your blog posts, thinking about all of those in advance. If you need to change out your banners, for example, you have the static banners on home pages. To the extent that you can, try to change those out for seasonal banners. It does take more work. Some of the merchants, if you go in and you look and see that they have them coded as seasonal banner, then you don't have to change them, that they'll be changing those for you. Otherwise, you need to be thinking about all of the different placement areas where you might want to change out just a regular banner or a logo banner to some kind of seasonal banner, because they do tend to convert better. Blog posts. Planning in advance, if you take the editorial calendar and say, I'd like to do at least 1 or 2 seasonal posts a month to make sure that I'm getting something out there that's timely, maybe something that not everybody's talking about, but everybody's looking for. So, a particular holiday or event that's coming up, obviously everybody's going to talk about Halloween, everybody's going to talk about Christmas. Talk about some of those things that are a little bit more obscure, Grandparents' Day, that not everybody's talking about, but you can put together some kind of blog post about Grandparents' Day gifts, and when other people are looking for that, they come across your site. Filming and location videos. If you work with movies, just making sure that you're keeping on top of YouTube to see what kind of filming, if they have behind the scenes stuff that's going on, including those into your site, so you're building up to the movie coming out with new information as much as you can. And then lastly, adding the new merchants to your site. It's always a good idea to take a look through the networks that you work with, do some keyword searches, and see what new merchants have come out, because chances are pretty good that since the last time that season came around, there are probably some new merchants that you might want to work with that will be doing seasonal promotions as well.
Tricia, when you're working with a specific merchant and you have, let's say, an old blog post or a page that discusses that particular merchant, do you find it like worth your effort to go in and swap out previously displayed ads for a seasonal ad?
It depends on what it is. Like something like the Harry Potter, I would go back into any of my old Harry Potter posts and replace it with the new stuff because no one wants to see,
Right.
The old stuff. They're going to think it's an old post. If it's something, if it's a time constraint and it's a choice between leaving just a general logo or a general coupon code versus changing the seasonal, then I'd be fine with leaving it. But it kind of depends whether it's the kind of thing that if someone looks at that page, they're going to think it's outdated and I'm getting enough hits on that page still that I need some conversions or want some conversions, then I'll go ahead and take the time to swap it.
All right, cool, thanks.
I might just chime in super quick too, if that's okay. To just remind merchants, if you have holidays and or just seasonal campaigns or things that happen every year, my advice would be to keep those banners and that creative within the network for your affiliates. I'd also be open to attaching creative in emails to your affiliates, so that for those that are savvy, affiliates that want to be able to link on the fly without having to log into the network. They have that flexibility. So again, that's going to be a call for you and how you feel and the kind of trust you have with that partner. But I find it really beneficial to equip and arm my little army of affiliates with more sizes via email than I might have space for in the network. So typically when we do a creative run, we get all standard IAB sizes, plus some littler, smaller banners and creative pieces. But I don't have them all in, say, for example, commission junctions. So I attach them in email to affiliates that like that, and then they're able to still link to them on the fly. And certainly you mentioned seasonal banners. Those are good for things that are going to routinely change. However, if you have, a Kentucky Derby site, and all of a sudden they change and now become Cinco de Mayo, and then they become graduation, or if things are changing constantly, then all of a sudden their Kentucky Derby site is out of date. So again, if it's something big and it's something that you're noticing that these niche affiliates are building content for, you don't want to kind of burn them over by all of a sudden snagging that creative and flipping it on them. So ask your affiliates, do you prefer your creative to be static so that you can have a year-round presence for anybody searching for Kentucky Derby during the entire year? Or is it okay that I change these? And oh, by the way, these are the links that change. Please be mindful of the fact that these are going to change. Not every affiliate knows that those things change. And again, it's obvious to us if we've been here doing this a while, but you know that new people are entering the space all the time. So sometimes you just have to, overflow or give more information maybe than the average affiliate that you're working with. Just keeping it real for the smaller up and comers that one day might be your big top performers.
Well, let's keep it real on some timing and events. How can you capitalize on some of these things that aren't necessarily definitely seasonal, but some opportunities for people who have the wherewithal to take on?
I have to say that my favorite part of the entire presentation is the Betty White picture up there.
Who's in that? Who is the Betty White picture? Yeah.
our best example of capitalizing on timing and events. Communication. Communication is the absolute key, because in some situations, an affiliate may not know that they should be capitalizing on something unless you tell them. A merchant may not know that there's something going on unless an affiliate says, hey, do you happen to have any creative, right, or can I deep link to this particular page? Can you create a deep link or a banner that deep links into this specific page because there's something going on that's making people want to go to this particular page on your site? And then also the manner of communication. I mean, whether you're getting a lot of newsletters, whether you're watching your affiliate managers on Twitter, or you're a fan of their Facebook page or whatever, the more ways that the merchant gets that information out to us as affiliates, the better chance that we're going to have of being able to capitalize on it.
Yeah, and going along with that, as far as like quick response to unforeseen events, this is a pretty important topic because seasonality is obvious, and you can see holidays, listed or shown to you here today. But we discussed a little bit earlier, like the death of pop icons or like high-profile cases. A funny little thing I think about sometimes is you have to be okay with how you made your money today. Casey Anthony is I'm going to lay it out there, I'm bringing it on, is an extremely controversial high-profile case. But are there masks for Casey Anthony? Are there blog posts you could be writing? Are there books you might be writing? Movies that might come out that you could monetize on by promoting? Yes. So you have to be okay with how you make your money today, which means that you may or may not want to monetize on something as strikingly controversial as the Casey Anthony case. But is there money to be made in that space and around that profile? Absolutely. So it really depends kind of on the kind of affiliate you are and what kind of affiliate you want to be, where you kind of draw the line in the sand. And it will also heavily depend on the advertiser that you work with. We've had, we kind of press the needle a little bit, especially on the by costume side with non-PC products and very controversial products that we carry. I became aware actually this week that we will actually be carrying Casey Anthony, when several weeks ago we drew the line in the sand and said absolutely not. So sometimes even if I don't agree or others, don't agree within the company, the company kind of makes a stand, and absolutely we'll have affiliates that are like, we're not okay with this, Kristen. Like, I just can't believe your company's doing this. But then I've got another 10 emails in my inbox like, I just bought a domain and where are these products and I have to get going, So it's a very delicate balance between some of those products, but they absolutely offer you the opportunity to monetize in a highly seasonal way. This will probably die down, but you better believe that monetizing around something like Casey Anthony will be hot for the next several months, especially when she resurfaces with blonde hair and Aruba or something like that.
On the affiliate side of that, I
yeah.
think you have to take, when you're looking at things like these particular events, you're taking into consideration things like whether you have an audience that comes back to you routinely, if you have a membership-based site and you know what the tenor of that site is, if those people are all politically incorrect and they're always posting those kinds of things and they find that humorous, then of course you want to, you want to monetize with that. If you have a very family-based site, you just have to go with your gut, whether it's worthwhile, if it's something that's going to be so offensive to them or not. If you're doing search, maybe it doesn't matter. It's just up to your personal beliefs and not the beliefs of the people that are visiting the site. So on the affiliate side, you just kind of have to be open-minded when you see those things come in from the merchant and you think, oh, that's so tacky that they're capitalizing on something like this. You have to just think about the fact that there are affiliates out there that are asking for those things and they're being responsive to other affiliates in a way that you feel like they're being offensive. So
Right.
Well, as disgusting as an example that is, I think it is a great example to illustrate the fact that, certain things do come up and you need to figure out from yourself or within your own business, where do you draw the line on what you will do and what you won't do? And of course, who are you talking to in terms of your audience?
Right.
And is that what they want to see, right? So
Right.
I think it's a very good controversial example because that really makes you think about, really?
Yeah.
Am I going to do that?
And I'm sorry.
But I wanted to ask Tricia, how do you actually address quick things like we see Michael Jackson's death?
Yep.
You have a business that does rely on seasonality a lot, but then you also address upcoming movies and pop culture things. How do you address something as unexpected as a death like Michael Jackson?
personally, I don't monetize any of that. It's just because that's a personal belief for me that if it were, with the Michael Jackson situation, if they're putting out like a tribute DVD a year later, I'll make sure that it's included in our data feed. If my members are talking about it, I'll mention it. But it's just the kind of thing that, for me personally, and because my sites are all very representative of me, and everyone looks at my sites and thinks about me. So for me, it's just one of those lines that I've drawn that anything that relates to, death of a celebrity, the cases, the court cases, things like that, it's just something that I don't respond to at all.
Well, what about something that's not so tragic or negative, like, those,
not as controversial.
they
like
came
that.
to visit the, I don't know, the Prince William. Or
Royal
wedding.
Yeah. I'm big on that stuff, clearly, right?
Will and Kate.
But yeah, so like, something like that, how do you, as an affiliate, see an opportunity in those types of...
You have to choose your battles. Something like that, I take a look at and I see how quickly I got it before everybody else. If it's something, that I can get it up on my site because not everybody else is already talking about it, I'll do a quick search and see how many people are already monetizing it. I look and see how closely it relates to my sites. If it's something that, really, really ties in, I'm going to put it up there no matter what. If it's something that's just kind of on the line, then it depends on the priority of the time. But I always keep, the tweet deck open to make sure that I see what's trending on every topic. I always make sure that my Google alerts are set up for anything that's even tangentially related to any of my sites, and skim the newsletters for anything, like she said, that, if there's something that pops up that they have this particular costume that nobody else has because of something that's happened in the news. I keep an eye on all of those things and watch for those trends, but then it just becomes, a prioritization issue.
Gotcha. Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, and I just have a couple other examples too. So I guess if you could kind of put these quick responses into categories, those categories would be things like high-profile cases, so your Casey Anthony's, your O.J. Simpsons of the world, media. So just a good example last year was that dude on the plane that got drunk and he was belligerent and he slid down the slide and stuff like that. Like, people are buzzing around in the media, just think that he's crazy, and it's trending. So if it's scrolling on the bottom of CNN or Fox or whatever news channel you're watching, I mean, that's an opportunity for you to realize people are talking about this and to monetize it in a creative way.
Did you guys make a costume for that?
We did. Costume kit. Betty White was another one that we did with the droopy boobs and pearls and all. So that's pretty, it was just because she's like the only golden girl that's left living. I mean, we kind of stretched, our minds here a little bit, and certainly ask your advertisers for like ideas and like what they're doing, because that's, who would ever think to like create a Betty White site, and you can incorporate like her life history and, just all sorts of different things, and grab random products, not just costumes. I mean, there's tons of stuff around Betty White or people she endorses. She was on a Super Bowl commercial, for example.
Well, that's when it started, and that's when you guys started really recognizing the trend, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And like, it's just, it doesn't have to be just like party decor, costume related. And I know that might be heavily what I'm talking about because that's what I'm so close to. But I mean, you can kind of expand your mind on all the different products and all the different industries that are around like a certain icon or person. So high-profile cases, the media, politics, right? So that wiener dude, right? Costume for that's going to be atrocious. Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? So unfortunately, these have more negative, like crazy connotations. So again, it just comes down to what you're comfortable promoting. Affairs, right? So all the celebrities and how long their marriages don't last. And marriages like the royal wedding is a great example of how to monetize something that was big. Kim Kardashian just tied the knot last night. Woot woot, whatever. Even if you don't care about it, you have to believe that people do, and you can help your affiliates make money. And again, I'm very affiliate centric. Like they're your front lines, and you've got to empower them with ideas and think out the box. And again, holding a webinar, kind of get the brainstorm flowing a little bit. Because the only way that you're going to drive sales or make money for your company is through these partners, and so you have to empower them. So give them good ideas. Again, some of these different genres of topics. Another one, again, just to be a little negative maybe, but our deaths, right, of those pop icons. So Michael Jackson probably being a huge example. Amy Winehouse is another one. Well, guess what else trended when Amy Winehouse died? All the other people that died when they were 27. So that's a great opportunity to blog about that niche. What are they called again? The Fabulous Five, or what was it?
I don't remember.
So
it's like the 27 Club.
Yeah, like something like that. Like it's Jimi Hendrix, Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse. Help me out, sorry. But that's an opportunity for you to, people are talking about that. So not only did she get press, but all those other people did too. So now you've got niche opportunities coming out or stemming out of that. And not to be too crazy, but people will suddenly die in the future, right? You can actually prepare for that. So when Donald Trump passes, Hugh Hefner will be a good one.
Why just say Donald Trump
Rip.
the first thing?
Or just like some of these, iconic characters that Gene Simmons, another one. Like, it's you have to again pick your battles, prioritize, right? Because you can't be writing blog posts for things that happen in the future, but. Anticipating, people that are, Sean Connery turned 81 this week. Stuff like that. But when things like that happen, it's just an opportunity that you might not think of right away, and that's kind of what we're here to do, is help you maybe think about, that a little bit more going forward.
So we have seasons like Shamrock hats
Yeah,
and
yep.
Valentine's Day and
Juxtaposed
deaths of
with the
celebrities.
death of celebrities.
All right, I
Right.
think this is our last slide here, right? So we're going to talk quickly about extending revenue opportunities for us as affiliates.
That's
Right.
really the key to all of this, is that you're making the most of the money that you make during your season, but you also need to find other ways to make money throughout the rest of the year. So I think you've got one of the best ones in terms of sending us product suggestions.
Yeah, just so we're talking like a lot about just the generic newsletters and stuff that you send, but a lot of what you can help your affiliates monetize are the products themselves. I mean, even if it's one product, or for example, if it's an exclusive product. If you carry products that can't be found anywhere else online, then your affiliates should have a list of those products. They should have links to those products, creative to those products. The only way you're going to sell those products, I mean, besides your own internal efforts, are through affiliates that have, this just huge network of customers that they're targeting. Another example, I hope I'm not jumping too far ahead, but, books that become movies. That's a double whammy, because now there's a book release and then there's also a movie release. So I think that just, a lot of times these book release lists and movie lists are also available from advertisers that capitalize on those things. So if you just perk up and ask your affiliate manager for a list of book releases that are coming out next month, and it will inspire them or give them that idea to, yes, get that in your hands, and they should be doing that. If they want to make money with you, they should be open. That's not like holding cards too close or proprietary information. It's available out there on the web. But as an affiliate manager and as a company, do that research for your affiliates, because again, they're quicker to react when you give them what they need right away.
We have about 13 minutes left. I want to leave some time
Yeah.
for questions. But I do know you still have a few things to run through here.
Let them start if they have questions.
Yeah, in
otherwise-
fact, yeah. So while we're going through this final
Yeah.
slide, if you do have any questions, feel free to pop on up onto the microphone, okay? So I want to make sure we have plenty of time for questions.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, please.
Hi, I'm Claude Polan, and I'm an affiliate marketer. So the question that I have is, when you're dealing with seasonality, how are you driving traffic? I guess you can do PPC because it comes and goes. So are you building the traffic to your offer with PPC because the rest of the year it's not there? Or are you putting it on a site that already has traffic and capitalizing on the traffic you're getting on SEO?
For me, I tend to do it mostly with the organic. I put it on the sites that I already have, and then I just change those sites to add the seasonality. That's because none of my sites are specific to those particular seasons or events. So if you did have, the sites like she mentioned, a Kentucky Derby site, that would be one that, it might make sense to do some PPC during relevant times of the year. But for me, I don't do any PPC when it comes to the seasonality, because I just make the most of the membership base that I have. But I do start in advance. So, I'll start talking about Grandparents' Day in early August, even though it's not until mid-September, and I know not a lot of people are talking about it. If I get those blog posts or video reviews or whatever else out there in a timely fashion, then I can start growing that organic traffic far enough in advance that I can still capitalize on it.
Thank you.
Right. Great, thanks. Want to go any other
Those other ones?
bullet points here to continue on?
I like the same market but different season.
Yeah, that's a good one.
For example, if you do things with college textbooks and you sell a lot of college textbooks, in August and September, and then you think you're kind of done until January, maybe you need to market to those people with college gear for the holiday season and saying, hey, buy mom a college sweatshirt with your school on it, or things like that, because chances are pretty good that they're in college if they're buying textbooks. So go back to them, and then at the end of the year, go back to them with graduation stuff, because even if they're not graduating, they probably have friends that are graduating about the same time. So taking, what's just one event for you, and it seems like you're done completely, or you're done until that same time next year. The Valentine's Day, Halloween example or Sweetest Day example that we gave, you can use almost identical language and identical products from Valentine's Day to Sweetest Day. You're still talking flowers, you're still talking candy, those same products, and then the creative things that you come up with for Valentine's Day, that's still the creative thing that you try to push on Sweetest Day. So you're changing your creative and your color scheme a little bit, but you're not having to change the products that you're promoting. So think about the different opportunities throughout the year where one holiday, one event, one demographic is going to be similar to another.
Any other questions? We still got a few more minutes left, and we have a couple of more points to talk about, but we wanted to be sure you have a chance to have your questions answered, so don't be shy.
Yeah.
There you go. She's not shy. In honor of her not shyness, we should put on one of these awesome hats.
I think we should.
They were brought out.
Hi, my name is Chelsea. I work for a website called cowboom.com. And this question is for Kristen. I was just wondering how often, what's the frequency that you message your affiliates?
So I message my affiliates without fail once a month through a monthly newsletter.
Okay.
In addition to that, I have created those distribution lists.
Mm-hmm.
So when we have last minute offers or things going on, I'll definitely message them weekly if I have to. I try not to get in front of an affiliate more than 5 times a month because I know I'm not their only advertiser. I'd love to be, but I know
Right.
it's not realistic. But again, I make my communications in my newsletter maybe a little bit more lengthy, a little bit more forecasty, so that they are building that month for what's kind of coming down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And when I send out an email through a distribution list, it's 2 sentences, bullet points, 1 banner, attached creative, that kind of thing, done. Because it's like rapid fire, do what you can with this. This is a great opportunity, and I don't want to waste their time by making them read, a huge email.
So it sounds like you're on CJ's network.
Mm-hmm.
So when you send those, you're sending them directly to their email address, not to the mass messaging through affiliate.
So the monthly newsletter is through the
Right.
network. Yep,
Then
you
your
bet.
distribution
When I'm
lists are
doing
to
rapid
actual-
fire, I do add them to a distribution list, and then I always have a courtesy if you'd rather not receive VIP or if you'd rather not receive email from me any longer, just type unsubscribe, and then I absolutely get them out of the distribution list. Yep.
So
I
you-
kind of ask before I subscribe them to the distribution list also. It's not just something I do on the fly just as a courtesy to them because, again, of all the emails that they get.
Of course.
Yeah.
And when so you're sending banners, are you just attaching those and then including the CJ link ID, or how do you set that
I do
up?
both. So
Okay.
I will attach all the sizes that I have available to them because, again, you're talking to a lot of different affiliates that have a lot of different size and creative needs. But then I'll also include the link IDs that they can use within the network. So it's affiliate preference. Some affiliates are very comfortable just getting something raw, hosting the image themselves, and attaching their link ID to it. Others that are not as comfortable doing that prefer to go into the network, then they have the link IDs. So again, when you take that link ID, plunk it in the network, bam, you have it. You're not searching and scrolling and that kind of thing. So I try to make it really efficient. Because an hour during Halloween for us is the whole week and other time of the year. So they've got to get what they need ASAP kind of thing. Yeah, huge sense of urgency during seasonal times.
Thank you.
Yep.
As an affiliate, I can say that I am much more likely to read your VIP emails than I am to read, I'm going to read them all now. Yeah. I'm much more likely to read the VIP emails because they are targeted to me. It's not just, I'm not figuring it's just another one of those mass mailings that just says this is what we're doing this week or whatever. I know that it's something that she has specifically thought is something that I need for my site. So those are the ones that I tend to pay a little bit more attention to.
And you can get really granular with that too. I mean, again, it's all about priority. But you can get really granular with your VIP list. Like I could seriously create just a Twilight distro list for all people that promote Twilight, and then be really granular. Not quite there yet, but one day. Oh.
Don't create a Twilight light. We don't need them all.
Right. Exactly.
I also like the theme parties idea with your Celebrate Express stuff in particular. That the theme parties, it's something that we can use throughout the year once we've already put in the time. And there might be times where people want to have, say you go to the trouble of putting together all of your Irish stuff for St. Patrick's Day. You could still, even throughout the year, there are a lot of people on my Irish site, they're looking for Irish party information all year, whether it's something that ties in with a fundraiser that they're doing, or just their own, heritage. They want to have a fun thing. You can't even take me seriously, can you? It is something that they can use throughout the year. So with the theme parties, I think that it's a good idea to
All right, anyone else who asks a question, and those who already have, get to take one of these home. So we're modeling here. Ask more questions.
For the
so you
pinata,
can,
we have some
Yeah,
beautiful things
yeah.
for you.
We were so close to putting these things on like every 10 minutes, just kind of change hats and not even acknowledge the fact that we were doing it, just change hats.
To see if you all happen to notice. Or
Thanks
yeah,
for bringing all
that's-
these hats,
Yeah,
Kristen, and your gear.
that's a good point, though, too. On a more serious note, to just, more than ever, just on the party note, if you guys are doing anything, around something where, like, families can create memories, right? So it's a tough time out there for a lot of people. And economy woes, this, that, and the other thing. People are not packing their bags, going to Disney for little Jimmy's 5th birthday, right? They're staying home, maybe doing the roller rink instead, or having an at-home-based party. Same with bachelorette parties. The days are gone. It's somewhat where we're flying to Vegas and we're getting crazy. The girls are wanting the boas and the downtown river cruises and just staying closer to home. So just thinking about, how to create like these memories, right? And add value to your customer and speak to them in that way more than ever before. People are scaling down maybe on the party or celebration motif, whether it be baptism, baby shower, again, bachelorette, even weddings, right? So, just keeping that in mind and monetizing that, like you were saying, for already established campaigns or things that you have going on, might be a good way to just even out revenue stream and have a niche way to speak to those families that as we dig ourselves out, pull ourselves up by the bootstraps and get back on track as far as economy goes.
One final last thing as an affiliate that relates to that is don't forget the post-seasonality sales. So if you know that your merchants are having their 80% off clearance of the party supplies, the movie is over and done. Now they're getting rid of it, to make way for the new movies coming in or the holidays over. Make sure if you have a site that does deals or blogs where you can talk about ways to get good deals, take advantage of the post-seasonality, not just the seasonality itself.
Looks like there's no other questions, but I do want to give you a chance. One last shot. All right, bring it. All right, thanks. Yeah, thanks for bringing up a question. No, you're plotting for her, I know.
I just wanted to ask if you have any tips or any ideas on how to, maintain your posts and keep them relevant without having to go in and change loads of different product posts. Because I had a Christmas website last year, and that's what I found was the most time-consuming. I sort of just ditched it.
Can you just repeat that last part? I'm sorry.
Sorry, I said I built a Christmas website last year, and I just
Okay.
found it really time-consuming to keep the products up to date and keep them updated. And I tend to focus more on evergreen sites now. So I was just wondering if you have any tips on how to just maintain those sites, keep them current without having to put in 20 hours a day.
One would be the
Yeah.
product feeds, using the
Yeah.
product feeds, whether you're using some kind of script yourself to bring in the product feeds or using something like Golden Can or Pop Shops to bring those in for you, using those to change out your products for you. So if you combine, a static seasonal banner with some kind of product feed coming in, it's going to look like your site is being updated every single day when you actually haven't touched it since you initially put it up.
Okay.
Yeah, I
point.
think the data feed, aggregators basically are a right way to do that, because if a merchant is updating their products on a daily or weekly or ASAP basis, then when the price changes, your site automatically reflects that change, and then you're not having to do it yourself. If it does become manual, then absolutely get the merchant's most deepest inventoried popular products on your site first and foremost. So prioritize, because you don't want to be out of stock, on a product during the peak week, for example. So press them for top products.
Okay.
I usually suggest, it's going to vary business to business, but you're going to want 500 or more pieces in stock, especially on something super seasonal, and just prioritize that way so that you're not, again, stuck with something out of stock. It might happen. You have to understand that's the nature of the business. It might happen. The vendor only makes so much, but you can monetize, and capitalize on it, as long as possible.
I guess a follow-up question is, how do you deal with the merchants whose data feeds aren't that regular, aren't that accurate?
Press your affiliate manager in business. You
Talk to
better
Eric
get them
Nagel.
up.
Thank you.
If you're sitting in your chair right now and you know that your data isn't updated very regularly, make that a priority item, number one, because again, your affiliates cannot sell for you what's not up to date. I mean, we could have a whole panel on optimizing data feeds, quite honestly. But absolutely, like really make that a priority item, because again, product-specific campaigns have got to be up to speed, because your customers are going to call in to customer service and you lose the sale. So this is $64.99. Now I'm seeing it $73.99. Now they've called in. If you don't have a way to track that sale, your affiliate's the one that loses. So.
Well, thank you. We are out of time, so I'd like to thank our panelists, Tricia Meyer and Kristen Grace.
Thanks, everybody.
Those are contact details. But thank you very much. Please be sure to fill out the survey at the end. And if you have any questions for us, come on up.